Looking dead center, back of the end zone. It's a touchdown. Rashee Rice.
In the NFL, time runs out fast for players who fail to meet big expectations, making the upcoming season a crucial turning point for several athletes. Stars, role players, and backups enter this critical campaign facing immense pressure to prove their worth. If they don't improve their performance immediately, their current franchises will move on and leave them searching for a new home. So, let's examine 10 NFL players who need a big year in 2026, or else they'll be backing up the moving vans in 2027. Breece Hall, New York Jets. There's no doubt that Breece Hall has the talent and ability to be a top running back in the NFL. It's just that we haven't really seen the best that he has to offer. More than likely, it's more a reflection of the team that he plays for than the player himself. The Jets are, and have been, a bad team, as evidenced by the fact that their last winning season was 2015. Over the first 4 years of his career, Hall has established himself as a dual-threat weapon out of the backfield, surpassing 1,000 rushing yards for the first time in 2025 and having 76 receptions in 2023. The type of running back a team can build around. Additionally, from a financial perspective, there's no reason for the Jets to part ways with Hall, who recently signed a 3-year, $45.75 million contract extension. However, there are reasons to believe that if Hall falters in 2026, a divorce is possible. New York, which last made the playoffs in 2011, has struggled to build any consistent success for years. They are once again embarking on another rebuild, and considering their track record, who knows how long or successful this one will be. The Jets may look to avoid a high salary to a position like running back that typically doesn't exactly age well. If Hall has a poor season, New York could look to move him, trade him while he still has some value, gain some draft capital, and direct more money to more premium positions, like, a franchise quarterback. Deshaun Watson, Cleveland Browns. Selected by the Texans with the 12th pick in the first round of the 2017 draft, Deshaun Watson burst onto the NFL landscape in 2018. From 2018 to 2020, he led Houston to back-to-back AFC South titles and was named to 3 Pro Bowls. In his magical 2020 season, Watson threw for a league-leading 4,823 yards and 33 touchdowns, both career highs. Things fell apart in 2021, however, when the quarterback sat out the season after requesting a trade amid being accused of off-field misconduct. Apparently, over 24 civil lawsuits that allege sexual misconduct during massage sessions make a guy want to leave town. Well, the lawsuits settled. Watson was traded to the Browns, served an 11-game suspension in 2022, and signed a fully guaranteed 5-year, $230 million contract. Since arriving in Cleveland, things have only gotten worse for Watson. Karma, perhaps. His 2023 season ended with a shoulder fracture. 2024 saw him rupture his Achilles tendon, and he never got on the field in 2025. Watson will have an opportunity to battle for the starting QB job this year, and if he has a great season, perhaps the Browns re-sign him. But I mean, why would they? He's a liability. The more likely scenario is that he serves as the backup or gets released at some point, especially with an expiring contract. So, good season or bad, Watson is most definitely playing elsewhere next year. George Pickens, Dallas Cowboys. Drafted in 2022, George Pickens immediately blossomed into an offensive threat for Pittsburgh. An explosive wide receiver, he quickly became known for his top-notch deep threat skills and ability to haul in contested passes, surpassing 1,000 receiving yards and leading the league in yards per reception in 2023. A trade to the more offensively built Cowboys in 2025 unleashed another side to the talented receiver. Pickens earned Pro Bowl and second-team All-Pro honors with 1,429 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns. The receiver's presence was so vital to the Cowboys' Super Bowl aspirations in 2026 that they used the franchise tag on him, $27.3 million for 1 season, to prevent him from leaving as a free agent. In fact, that massive 1-year deal is one of the reasons that Dallas might look to move on from Pickens, either during or after the season. It's much simpler to see his departure after the season when his contract has actually expired. If he has a bad year, well, the Cowboys can simply let him walk as a free agent. If he has a good season, well, then there's a good chance that they'll re-sign him. But with their need to pay big money to Dak Prescott, Quinnen Williams, CeeDee Lamb, Javonte Williams, eventually, and many, many others, there's really not much left for Pickens. There's also the scenario where he's traded during the season. If Dallas gets off to a bad start, Pickens' impending free agency might spur the Cowboys to move him for future assets. Kyle Pitts, Atlanta Falcons. When the Falcons selected Kyle Pitts with the 4th overall pick in 2021, he became the highest drafted tight end in history. Whether or not he's lived up to that status is debatable. He immediately impressed in his rookie season when he amassed 1,026 receiving yards and was named to the Pro Bowl. Pitts' next 3 seasons, though, were average at best. But he rebounded in 2025 when he earned second-team All-Pro honors. His stellar 2025 season earned Pitts a 3-year, $54 million contract extension, which is the largest 3-year contract ever given to a tight end in NFL history. From a financial point of view, the contract makes a lot of sense. While his $18 million average annual salary makes him the highest-paid tight end in the game, the deal is structured to provide a low cap hit. But has he done enough to earn that kind of money, especially considering that he hasn't proven himself to be the same tier as the game's best tight ends? If anything, he's one level right below him. That's why the possibility exists that the Falcons could look to part ways with him, especially if he has a bad year, which, well, is certainly possible. After all, before 2025, he had 3 straight down seasons. Even with several down years under his belt, a young tight end with his potential could fetch a nice return of draft picks and assets and provide greater cap flexibility. So, it's not as far of a stretch as one might initially think. Malik Willis, Miami Dolphins. Malik Willis is finally getting his chance to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. While he started 6 games over his first 4 seasons, 2026 represents the first time that he'll truly be given the reins to a team. Too bad he's being put in an unfair situation to succeed. After close to 3 decades of disappointment and mediocrity, the Dolphins decided to completely undergo a total overhaul, firing the GM and coach, trading away the few valuable assets they had, and releasing dead weight. The rebuild was officially on. And one of the casualties of this purge was quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, who Miami decided it was better to absorb a $99.2 million cap hit than have him on the roster. Needing a quarterback, the Dolphins brought in Malik Willis and immediately gave him a 3-year, $67.5 million contract. Unfortunately, he has almost no weapons on offense. The Dolphins have historically had an atrocious offensive line, and they traded away or released their best receivers Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill respectively. The only weapon the Dolphins currently have is running back Devon Achane, and while he's a dual threat, he alone cannot help Willis. There's almost no way that he can succeed, which might be what Miami wants. The 2027 draft class has the potential for at least 5 quarterbacks drafted in the first round, including Arch Manning, who could be the answer the Dolphins have been looking for since Dan Marino retired. Whether it's Manning or someone else, Willis will be one and done in Miami. Brian Branch, Detroit Lions. Almost immediately after entering the NFL, Brian Branch established himself as a cornerstone on the Detroit defense. It certainly didn't hurt that he intercepted Patrick Mahomes and returned it for a touchdown in his debut. He finished his rookie year with 3 interceptions and had 74 tackles. He followed that up with an even more impressive sophomore season when his 4 interceptions and 109 tackles earned him Pro Bowl honors. Unfortunately, his 2025 season was cut short when he suffered a torn Achilles in December, which now brings us to 2026, where Branch finds himself in an unfortunate situation, entering the final year of his rookie contract and attempting to return from a severe injury. In July, he was placed on the physically unable to perform list, and a return is not expected until late in the season, possibly even December, which gives him a limited amount of time to show the Lions that he's worth a new deal. The odds are further stacked against Branch, as Detroit has several other upcoming financial decisions, such as extensions for Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs, so a defensive back might not be a priority. It all comes down to 2026. If Branch has a good season, then the Lions must at least consider re-signing him. After all, defensive backs who have solid coverage skills and high-impact playmaking abilities don't come around often. Yet if Branch can't recover from his injury or has a bad year, he'll find himself playing elsewhere in 2027. Rashee Rice, Kansas City Chiefs. Rashee Rice had the privilege of being drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs amid their run as one of the most dominant teams in the league. It's almost like being born into royalty. Yet he's on the verge of blowing it all away. As a rookie in 2023, Rice had 79 receptions for 938 yards and 7 touchdowns in the regular season, and then played a vital role in helping the Chiefs win Super Bowl 58. During the playoffs that year, he set the NFL record for most postseason catches by a rookie. Regrettably, the talented wide receiver has dealt with numerous off-field issues. A high-speed street racing crash that led to a plea deal and 6-game suspension in 2024, a probation violation and jail time in 2025, and several other civil and legal matters. In addition, he had knee surgery earlier this year and could impact his 2026, which could hurt him financially as he enters the final year of his 4-year rookie contract. It's easy to see why the organization would be hesitant to discuss an extension with him. While he's talented, he's also very, very clearly troubled. The Chiefs need a high-impact elite number 1 receiver, and when Rice and Mahomes are on the field together, it has the potential to be electric. But can he stay healthy and out of trouble to be able to provide Kansas City with the offensive cornerstone that they need? Time and 2026 will tell. Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's taken a few years, but Baker Mayfield finally found a home and success in Tampa, although he might find himself someplace new in 2027. After limited success with the Browns, Panthers, and Rams, he signed a 1-year deal with Tampa in 2023 that turned into a multi-year extension. The Bucs and Mayfield were a perfect match, as the quarterback won back-to-back division titles, making 2 Pro Bowls, and had an unbelievable 2024 season in which he threw 4,500 yards and 41 touchdowns. There are just 2 minor problems. First, Mayfield and the team regressed in 2025, which raises several questions. Was last year a minor hiccup or a troubling sign of what's ahead? Are the Bucs in need of a rebuild, and is a 30-year-old quarterback fitting their long-term plans? Is Mayfield himself on the decline? These questions and many, many more. It's going to be interesting to see how those questions are answered during the 2026 season, especially because those questions lead to the other minor problem here. Remember that contract extension that he signed after the 2023 season? Well, it expires this season. Currently, contract negotiations have stalled, and the two sides are far apart. Mayfield has stated that he will not negotiate once training camp begins, so unless things change, he will let his play speak for himself in 2026. If Mayfield can have a big year and return the Bucs to the playoffs, he could be in line for a massive payday. However, if he plays poorly, he might be looking for a new home. Broderick Jones, Pittsburgh Steelers. Broderick Jones has experienced an up-and-down career after being drafted by the Steelers 14th overall in 2023. He immediately earned playing time as a rookie, shifting between left and right tackle. Across his first 3 seasons in the NFL, he's played in 45 regular season games with 38 starts. Despite his great speed and abilities to block for the running game, Jones has not yet been able to develop any true consistency, in large part due to the constant position shifting. Any momentum was derailed when he suffered a severe neck injury that placed him on injured reserve and shortened his season. The injury and inconsistency led Pittsburgh to decline Jones's 5th-year option, which means that he'll be playing for a new contract this year. The actual outlook on him securing a new deal with the Steelers is not good. His neck injury required spinal fusion surgery, and there is no timeline for his return. Predictions are that he'll start the season on the physically unable to perform or injured reserve list. Any delay to the season will cost Jones, as the Steelers have not one, but 2 replacements already in-house. Troy Fautanu has experience at left tackle, and Pittsburgh drafted tackle Max Yanachor this year for further insurance. Even if Jones is healthy enough to get back on the field at some point this season, there just may not be a roster spot for him, thus setting up a departure in 2027. Matthew Stafford, Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford is an elite quarterback and has been since he emerged as the Lions starter in 2011. He spent the first 12 years of his career in Detroit, where he became the franchise's all-time passing leader. He was traded to the LA Rams in 2021 and immediately proceeded to lead the team to a victory in Super Bowl 56. Known for his strong arm toughness and resilience, Stafford enters the 2026 season with 64,516 career passing yards, 423 touchdowns, the 2025 AP MVP, and a future Hall of Fame induction. However, at 38 years of age, it's certainly in the realm of possibility that Matthew Stafford will retire after the 2026 season. But we are entering this with the assumption that he has no plans to stop playing. So, while he's given no indications that he plans to hang things up, numerous factors, such as an injury, could certainly change that. That could be the primary reason Stafford has continued to sign a series of 1-year deals rather than any multi-year ones. And it is precisely that 1-year deal that could end up with Stafford playing someplace else next season. So, let's say that the Rams have a bad season, but Stafford plays well. He could decide to move elsewhere to chase one more Super Bowl. If Stafford has a bad season and still wants to play in 2027, well, the Rams Rams could simply let him walk. But hey, what other players are gonna need a big year or else they're gonna find themselves on a new team? Were there any notable names that we should have included on this list? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.